have 5 minutes to speak. The board may or may not address or comment this evening. If we do have an agenda item, we may choose to speak to it. The only other interaction that we would have would be a statement of fact with the speaker. So we have Mary Gutierrez is the first person who signed up to speak. Ms. Gutierrez.
Will say hopefully sometime to everyone. Good evening, Mr. Toscano, Mr. Bryant, esteemed board members, esteemed parents, students, and everyone who is here. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I am Josie with the Central Band Boosters. This is Mary Gutierrez with the Central Band Boosters, and Laura Rivera with the Central Band Boosters as well. We're here to present that we are selling Fiesta tickets for Day Like Parade as well as the Battle of the Bands. I will pass the floor to Mary so she can lead more information.
All right, East Central. Woo-hoo! My name is Mary Gutierrez, and I gotta say, being a band parent is just a lot of work, but it's well worth it. Good teachers, and it's really awesome. But let me get to the point here. Battle of the Bands from the Alamo Stadium is gonna be April the 21st, and they're 9 hours. Last year we purchased 300, which was sold out, and people wanted more, so we have 500. Battle of the Flowers is going to be on Friday, April the 22nd, $12 a seat. It's, let's see, and the next one's going to be the Fiesta Flambeau, which are going to be marching, and it's going to be Saturday on the 21st. We'll be selling the tickets at our board, our band booster meeting on the 26th, 7 p.m. You can call me, my number is 724-6538. Or Miss Josie, the number is 210-254, I'm sorry, my glasses, 4165. Right? So, go East Central.
So, my statement of fact about our band, as most of you know, is approaching 400 students. The Aggies might like to have that group. All right, next speaker is Connor Gaines. Connor Goines.
Dear board members, I am here on behalf of my son, Connor Goins. In the last 2 years, we have dealt with the issue of bullying, and I am here to request that we have something done about it. There's nothing in place right now to deal with it, and he has to face this on a daily basis. It wasn't until I approached Mr. Toscano today that I feel that something's actually going to be done about it. Not only has it been done in person to his face, it's been done over the internet. And Bexar County has done nothing for us. Up until today, the school has done nothing for us. And I am here pleading with you to help our students battle this problem. It's a much bigger problem than any of us can think of. It is way out of control, and it needs to be stopped. When my children are not with me, I expect the teachers to take care of them. I expect you to have control over the way the teachers take care of them. This is their second house. This is their home away from home. And we shouldn't have this in our house. Take back our power. And that's what I'm asking you today.
Hi everyone, I am Connor Goins. I go to Heritage Middle School, and I apparently be able to speak. I love having friends and enjoying my time at school. I never missed a day, but I'm being bullied.
I know the school does not allow bullying, but I am being bullied. I could name some of the bullies, but there are too many to tell. But I am just the only one who is being bullied. I listen to the news and know about the 16-year-old that killed himself. There are probably many others that are like him. I was bullied over the phone on Kick and at school. Do you like seeing me in pain is what I asked. Then he replied and said, lol, kind of. Bullying is just like murder. It makes people do horrible things to themselves. I am not just speaking for myself. I am speaking for everyone who is being bullied. And I am here to speak to you. The people that run the school, you need to stop this so other kids are not made to feel this way. And I would like to thank the nurses and all my teachers that helped me with the problems. So I hope you love my school as much as I do, and we can stop this bullying thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Ethan White.
Good evening, Mr. Toscano, President Bryant, board members, and guests. My name is Ethan White. I am a senior at Central High School, and I was selected to represent Central High School for being a student ambassador for the Mayor's Fitness Council. And I would just like to let you know that my objective, the Mayor's Fitness Council objective, is to promote healthy habits for the city of San Antonio, so that we can bring up our nutrition value and our healthy value for San Antonio. And to do that, we would like to branch out to the local communities in San Antonio, and that's why I'm here to represent East Central District. And March 5th, the first Saturday of March, we are going to, East Central District is hosting a Heroes Fair, and for my objective, and with my objective for student ambassador, I'd like to thank them for letting me to be an MC. And also with that, I would just like to let you know that we are promoting healthy habits by doing a video recipe contest that is going to be ending in February. March, we're going to have a healthy food habit for East Central High School for vegetables. We're going to promote vegetable eating by giving them samples of healthy and fresh slices of fruits and vegetables in March. And in April, we're going to have a water month, influencing them to drink not just water, but infused water. So to promote healthy habits that we can bring to the homes, that we can build, promote healthy habits through the city as a whole. So I would just like to let you know that, and please stay in tune for more upcoming events for my project. Thank you.
Thank you. Jimmy Crawford. Mr. Crawford.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, Superintendent Costado, ladies and gentlemen, and audience. I was presented with a document today regarding the status of the Heritage Middle School kitchen issue a few minutes ago after talking earlier with one of your staff. After reading this, it appears we're moving in the right direction to get the issue resolved. Thank you. In order to complete the mission that started in June of 2015, the board has the opportunity to review the staff recommendations for corrective actions and move forward. However, the board's opportunity to correct the Heritage Middle School issue is short, as summer will arrive soon. I will patiently wait until the March meeting for an update on the status and progress moving forward to get this item corrected. I'd like to thank you, the board, for their time on this matter, because their hands are full with a lot of other issues. Thank you.
The next agenda item is superintendent's reports.
Trustees, I'd like to start by having you take a quick glance at your calendars in your miscellaneous package. For the month of January as well as February, I'd like to point out a couple of items. First of which is in January, beginning this Sunday, the 24th, and running through Wednesday, the 27th, is the annual TASA Midwinter Conference. We'll have many staff in attendance in Austin, collaborating and receiving annual training for district level leadership. In February, we have a holiday on the 15th. I think that represents a very important time for us gentlemen. And then on the 18th is our next regularly scheduled board meeting at 6:30. And then lastly, on the 27th, I know that you have it on your calendar, trustees, but that will be our annual foundation gala in Floresville at the event center. This event is actually a month sooner than it's been in the past, so it's coming pretty quick. Really great agenda, really great event as always, and you can expect your invitations shortly. Thank you.
Item B, personnel reports.
Trustees, this month's report is on page 10 in your electronic packet. We've had very limited personnel activity in the past month. As always, if you have any further questions or would like any additional information regarding the personnel report for the month, please don't hesitate to contact my office and we'll get that for you.
Moving on to our action agenda, item 6A, Community Facility Committee Report and Recommendation.
Sir, Mr. President, trustees, as you're all aware, we've had a representative body of citizens that have been working for the last 2.5 months to review the demographic information regarding enrollment growth and residential development in our community, as well as the condition of all of our facilities. They reviewed a report from LPA and engineers regarding the condition of our facilities, looking at their capacity, etc. And they were very diligent. It was a very hard-working group. They asked a lot of great questions. They toured a lot of sites, and they're prepared to share their work as well as findings associated, and they have some recommendations for your consideration. I'll turn it over to one of their representatives, this Mr. Donald Aiden.
President Bryant, Superintendent Toscano, and the members of the board, I appreciate your time tonight, and thank you for the opportunity and the honor, actually, to come before you and give the recommendation of our committee. We'll be doing a presentation up here on the screen behind you. First of all, I want to just kind of give you a little general background of the committee process. We began this process back in early November. At that time, we were presented as a committee with the pre-work that the district had done related to identification of these issues within our infrastructure. And at that time, we also reviewed demographic information related to our district, such as growth expectations and so forth. At that time, we also discussed breaking into subcommittees so that it's a 20-member committee. We broke into 3 subcommittees, and then various people within the committee visited the sites that were in question by the group for the proposal. We presented those findings on December 1st. Mid-December, we updated our demographic information. We discussed estimated cost, tax impact, and so forth. And then on January 6th, we met as a committee to then finalize this recommendation that you'll be seeing tonight. I will say about the process that it was a very rich, diverse group that served on this committee from across our community, and I was exceptionally impressed with the work that we did, and I believe that we came to a very positive conclusion and recommendation. So our findings and our directions, there's basically 4 large categories that we'll be talking about here. The first category is 21st century classrooms, capacity, technology integration, and you can see those bullet points. Technology integration and allowing for future innovation. One of the things that we really discussed about in this proposal is through these renovations and so forth that we're talking about in these in our schools, impacting technology not only in the remodeling, but also that technology can be an educational type experience for the students themselves. So we're looking at getting them up to speed from a technology standpoint, but also giving the opportunity for our students to engage in that process. Flexible learning environments, it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you want to have a concept of that, you know, classrooms can be used for multi-purposes, can be used for multiple age groups, and as our demographics change, that may be necessary. So these rooms are going to be built that in such a manner that they would be flexible, that the district can use them for long term. Connectivity to the outdoors, early childhood education. One of the big objectives of the committee in the district is looking at pre-K and kindergarten, and currently ECISD is housing a lot of our pre-K. And so what we're talking about here is this would allow us to bring all of those pre-K to their home campus. So each of the elementary schools would have their pre-K and all that they need there for that. And kindergarten is, and elementary is really the focal impact of this study. To meet capacity needs for the next 5 to 10 years, as we'll see here later in the presentation, the demographics and the estimated growth in the district. Over a 10-year period, the estimated growth is somewhere around 1,400 students for the district. And that is going to, that's really going to impact how much space we have. So we'll be looking at those numbers a little bit more in depth here shortly. The second thing is the culture of collaboration. So inspiring lifelong learners. One thing that, you know, which I focused in on is I also was fortunate to be able to serve on the committee that we looked at what the demographic or what the East Central grad should look like. And what was really inspiring about this committee was that a lot of those key objectives that the mission statement of the district came to life in what we're trying to do here with this committee. Inspiring lifelong learners is one of those key objectives. What we want our students to leave here with that goal of trying to continue their education. So we're hopeful that what we're presenting to you all will impact students to become that. Spaces for group project-based learning, we just don't have that. When we visited these campuses, space is an issue everywhere. And to have group spaces, and project-based learning, those are all tools of collaboration. And today in business, collaboration is huge. You cannot do business, you cannot do school, higher education without collaboration. It's just a focal point of how things work today. Social media, you name it, all of that. It's all pieces that are tied into collaboration. Community space and performing arts. You'll see performing arts is in bold there. One of the key objectives and one of the things that came out of the committee is to build a fine arts center for East Central District and for the community. We'll talk about that here shortly. And also giving a space, in doing so, giving a space for community to just have a place to do their own thing too. So that space would be something that would, the bands, choirs, drama, they would have a formal and professional type environment to do their presentations, contests, whatever that may be. One of the big things that we talked about is the fact that one-act play for the high school is having to go out and lease space every year in Livernia because we just don't have the space to be able to do that. That center, we believe, also will be a great place for the community to hold events. Career readiness education. One of the things that we'll be talking about is John Glenn and incorporating, or basically making that, repurposing it for the high school and the health careers programs that East Central has would have a home if we were to do that. So it's just one of the examples. Energy efficiency. So sustainable and energy efficient, that just comes from the, you're updating, technologies have changed in that area, and we're always looking for savings. LED lighting, solar energy, any type of green energy that we can implement within the district to save dollars and to just make things work better. That's what we're looking for there. Solar energy ready. Solar energy, the cost of that is coming down, but the efficiency is going up, and it's definitely something that is being looked at. Green learning opportunities, and this is kind of where I tied in that initial comment. So all of these things are also areas where students can have a career someday. The energy is a huge career, and so part of what we talked about was that some of these things will be engaging for students. They not only will be able to be the benefactors of it in their environment, but they can also learn from it and also get an idea of whether they want to maybe even go into that career. Durable and maintainable spaces, that just goes without saying. Maintenance costs go up with these older buildings, so the renovations will be done in such a way that you would reduce your maintenance costs on them, and also create a more durable environment, something that's going to last for many years. And then lighting and HVAC upgrades. One of the biggest things that we saw within some of the schools were just poor lighting and just unbalanced air. In some places there were temporary ducts that had to be run over the years, things like that. And again, that really leads into efficiency. Right now it's just not efficient. And the lighting for the learning environment is pretty poor in some places. Safe and healthy schools, obviously, is always on the list. Secure entry, we all know the news. We see it every day. The events that are taking place, the security of our students and our staff is at a high point on that list. Safe pedestrian and traffic flow, another one of the key things that we saw in our visits related to traffic flow through in and out, segregating the traffic for the buses, the parent pickups, all that. It's just a mess sometimes. And anything that is within our control, it's not a city street, for instance, those things are evaluated as best we could in this proposal. ADA compliance. So some of the restrooms in some of the facilities were not ADA compliant, and so we're dealing with that ADA compliance issue. Sense of place and healthy learning environments, some buzzwords there, but obviously you want all of this really built into giving our students a more healthy, new, clean environment, healthy air, better lighting, those things all relate to that, and then healthy exercise environments. So our gymnasiums are also a focal point of some of these upgrades, including HVAC and all the gymnasiums. So that brings us to the recommendations here, and I would invite anybody who's on the committee if you would stand up. I would invite all of you, if you have any comments that you would like to make in this to add, please feel free to jump in. So the campus highlights and recommendations. Number one, the new district performing arts center. So the initial plan here is a 990-seat auditorium with upgrades to the drama department and the band hall. If any of y'all have ever been in the band hall, it is a big room. Okay, but the problem is that it looks really small because most of the instrument cases don't have a place to be stored, and so they're stacked against the wall, and so you lose a good portion of your space. Acoustic upgrades are also in that. The band hall is acoustically it's like a big room that just echoes like crazy. So there are some major acoustic things I think that can be done there. Drama is going to get a black box. They're going to get more educational space. Our drama program is fantastic at the high school. So that'll be a part of that addition. The auditorium itself, I think is long overdue for our district. We have you have Lavernia down the road here, and Lavernia has a very nice facility for performing arts. I think we're probably one of the only 6A schools I know about that does not have a performing arts center. So it's much needed. And like I said, we've had in the past, we've had to go out and lease space just for one act play because we just don't have a place for that. Band competitions, that's another thing. Band competitions are huge. They're huge revenue makers for us. Every year, it pains me just because I don't like Judson, but that our band has to go to Judson for a competition. It would be wonderful if we could actually hold UIL at East Central. That'd be a phenomenal event. But it also gives us space for community events, and that space can be leased out for those purposes as well. Sinclair, Pecan Valley, Harmony Elementary Schools, they're aging, and they all require some major updates. And in many cases, in all three of these schools, we're going to get additions that will give them additional classroom space. So they'll have new pre-K and kindergarten classrooms with in-room toilets. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but at that age, when you can't let a kid go walk down the hall to the bathroom, then your teacher has to leave the classroom with the student, and the rest of them are, it's just not feasible the way that we're doing it right now. And so going forward, these classrooms would all have their own restroom. It would also bring the pre-K to their home school, as I said. So each of these schools would get a pre-K area and an expansion of their kindergarten area. Code upgrades, those are the ADA compliance and things like that we talked about. Classroom finishes and equipment upgrades. HVAC for the gymnasiums, which is, anybody who's had to be in one of those gyms in the summer, I'm sure will be very happy for that. And that just, there are studies out there that, it's just unquestionable that helps students, period. And add classrooms necessary to meet modest growth projected for these areas. So we would add classrooms for the pre-K, giving them housing, or giving them a home basically there, and then also restructure the interiors of those schools that the classroom alignments would be different and you gain more education space. Salado, the intermediate schools require some major upgrades as well. So right now they have a lot of portables, and those would be replaced with new classrooms. The cafeteria needs expansion, upgrade to the older classroom finishes and provide classroom equipment improvements, major renovation to the existing gym and locker areas, and do away with some basically inefficient space there. And then the energy efficiency and so forth, the modernization of the gym, all of that would be part of that as well. The high school, the initial intent there is to convert the South Campus Gymnasium into cheer and dance. Cheer and dance don't really have a home on campus, and they deserve one. And that gym would make a perfect space for them. Band and drama, like I said, will be getting a renovation and some additions, some storage space for bands so that they can get those instruments off the floor and so forth. And then also some practice room areas. And then convert John Glenn currently to the high school and make it a supplemental learning annex. So the older part of John Glenn that really is, there's a lot of discussion about whether or not, it's better to build or to renovate. And as Mark Pelt told us, in his own words, that the bones are good for most of these places. So it's really probably diligent for us to look at renovating rather than building. In most of these cases, we think it's probably going to be the most cost-efficient process, much like we did at the high school. We used what we could salvage, and we did away with what was not salvageable. And in the case of John Glenn, we would do away with the older portion, and we would then reconstruct and renovate the portion that could stay, and it would gain classroom space for the high school. Also, I believe the fields and so forth over there could be repurposed for other sports and give the JV and so forth a home, especially when there's bad weather and so forth. And then item number 5 is to add a new school a new 850-student pre-K through 5th elementary school to be constructed on the north side of the district. You'll kind of see this almost immediately when we look at the map. I'm sure most of you are aware of really where this is going. But if any of y'all have driven 1604 and past I-10, you can already see the development going on the north side of 1604. Most of the demographic data and the information that we have is there's going to be a lot of new homes over there. That's where they're building, that's where they're growing. It's already been, sewage and utilities have already been placed there for years, and it's going to be, it's underway, and it's going to be moving fast. So that growth is in that area, and so that's one of the major proposals that we have on this. To convert ECDC to District Training Center. So that really is a very positive move, we think. It's one of those that we can salvage, and it kind of gives us a unique opportunity because it's really, it's basically, it's got cafeteria, you can train every aspect that you're running a school in that facility, basically. Additional work at other campuses, is, which you'll see is to be handled through the fund balance. So just real quickly, looking at some of the demographic data, I'm not going to go through this too much, but what you can see is for each school, you can see the current utilization numbers, and we go out 10 years, we go out to 2025. And if you look at each of those, you see they're all over capacity for the most part. And based on this proposal, and the way that the classrooms would be reconfigured and so forth, the new capacity utilization is right under that for each of those sites. So for a 10-year pattern of growth, we're looking at all of those facilities being right at or under capacity at the 10-year mark, which is a good plan. There's a lot that can change in 10 years, and those numbers work out well for us. The Salado and the Oakcrest, you'll see those numbers as well. Heritage Middle School and Legacy Middle School were not within the scope of the committee, but we put those numbers up there because it's obviously something that's going to have to be looked at down the road. Those growth numbers there are, at the 10-year mark, are pretty high. And then the high school, you'll see a greater level of efficiency there, and that's because of the conversion of John Glenn. And so that gives us the added capacity we need to handle those courses. So here you have the map. And so you see every school that we have on this map is south of 87. And a lot of your growth is happening out at I-10, 1604. So the proposed location for the new elementary school is, correct me if I'm wrong, but near 1346 out by 4 Points, that area in St. Hedwig. So that really would, you kind of see that whole lower quadrant there is really saturated with our schools. But you have a lot of growth north and there's nothing. And so those kids are on the bus way early coming and way late going home. And so it's definitely something that we need to address. And so that's the proposed location for this school. So from the committee's perspective, we visited all of these campuses. We met with the principals and the staff. We reviewed those maintenance records for those schools. And really the purpose of the committee was then to go in and assess that information based on what was delivered to us by the district initially, and then compare that and prioritize it based on what the principals and staff shared with us on our campus tours. We got to see this stuff firsthand, and nothing's better than having a door open and the fact that you can't cross through the hallway because the door's open. You feel a little claustrophobic. So you actually got a real up-close feeling with what they're dealing with in some of these cases, and some of the, to be honest with you, the district has done an amazing job with those facilities and making sure that they have met needs up to this point. But going forward and looking at the growth, I think the committee really came to the recommendation here that these changes need to be made. So let's look at the high school first, more in detail here. So this is just a map, a visual map representing the campus. So new district performing arts center, number 1 there, would tag on and build on to the side of the existing band hall. So that basically that parking lot that's in front of the game gym becomes the performing arts center. And you're really not losing very much space, parking space there at all. So it's with the changes that have gone on John Glenn, with the excess parking that's over by the Gym 3, we looked at that as being a very feasible location for this. It also connects to choir, connects to band, connects to drama. So all of that can have a direct link into the new Performing Arts Center. To renovate the South Annex gym and make and locker facilities to serve dance and cheer, to give them a formal place where they can call home. And then to expand the high school capacity by incorporating John Glenn right across the street. And I believe we talked about, and this is just an estimate of somewhere around 20 additional classrooms over there. East Central High School, the building scope. So add new fine arts facility, auditorium, stage dressing, workshop, orchestra pit, storage. That's all part of that. Update the band hall, again, acoustics is part of that. Renovate drama, choir classrooms, and then provide drama classroom and a black box. Our drama, like I said, our drama department, our choir, our band, it's incredible the growth and in all 3 of those areas of fine arts, and it will serve them well to do this. The training center. So the master plan, building use master plan, renovate to correct ADA compliance issues throughout the remainder of that campus. Again, there's a portion of that, kind of like John Glenn, that would be probably too costly to maintain and isn't really necessary, so that would be demolished. And get rid of any unused portables there, and then provide a training center where district employees can go, and also serve adult and continuing education at that location. Sinclair Elementary. You notice the list is a little longer here in the elementaries, so we'll kind of get through those pretty quick. The building scope, so to add new early education, pre-K, and the kindergarten wing. So that 1 is new construction. It's a new addition to that building. And then to renovate the classrooms and finishes within what's already there. Upgrade life skills. So that was one of the big things that we heard on all of our visits. To give them a much more appropriate type learning environment. And then renovate the library and close that with glass, and evaluate community access to that. Reconfigure the administration and clinic area, create space for music and fine arts, create new teacher work areas and restrooms, provide small group instruction areas, electrical upgrades throughout the facility, ADA compliance throughout the facility, and upgrade those restrooms. Again, AC in the gym. And then from a site scope perspective, that ADA compliance, to add the new parent drop-off pickup drive. That's one of those traffic flow issues that I talked about. It was a big hot point. To remove those portables and then put perimeters fencing around the back portion there, which is a security issue. So that's one of the things that it's just to make sure that it is maintained and secure. Sean Valley, so add new early education pre-K there as well. You'll see the number 1 or the blue down at the bottom. That is new construction proposed for that facility. Also a covered pickup canopy. So once you walk out of that school, there's nothing to protect you from the elements, really. So that's one of the big requests that we had. Also, there are apartments right next door to that school that a lot of students go to. And so that, the extension of that covered walkway to that facility is one of the things that we discussed as well. To renovate the classrooms, again, reconfiguration of those classrooms, to update them, to renovate the restrooms, renovate the library, ADA compliance throughout the facility, and the AC in the gym. So also we're talking about a new exit to East South Cross, which again deals with traffic flow, to update the exterior of the building, add a front canopy walkway, repair some uneven sidewalks, which I was almost victim to, provide additional parking, ADA compliance throughout, and a playground equipment upgrades. So that's one of those outdoor exercise area issues. Nothing about the canopy and walkway was more apparent than when we walked out of the building and it started pouring rain. We wished there was a canopy at that moment. So that was real life. Harmony Elementary, you'll see the addition there. So new, again, early education pre-K wing, and then again, reconfiguring, redesigning the interior to make those classroom, the kindergarten classroom space more usable, and to renovate the library, again, and closing that with glass. Natural light was one of those things that we heard a lot of. Separate computer labs, reconfigure administration area, the update finishes throughout ADA compliance, AC in the gym, and reconfiguring the dinner area. No site work allocated to this in the budget. Salado. So there is the proposed addition back in the back of classrooms in one. So there would be a line item one. So add new classrooms, addition of facility portables, replace the portables to create a new presence on 410. So that gives you that front-facing appearance of the school, which is right now it's kind of hidden. Renovate fine arts in the gym, the locker areas, and also give them AC in those areas. To renovate all the classroom wings with all the new finishes, restroom renovations, upgrading windows, and so forth. Just in general, you're gonna see a huge impact from of efficiency in just the renovations because of the construction and the new HVAC in these locations. Renovate all the classroom wings. Renovate and construct addition to the cafeteria with the canopy, replace the roof on that building, ADA and address ADA compliance issues. And then the site scope there is ADA compliance throughout, and to remove those portables to get, you notice that's one of the things we're trying to do in all these locations, get rid of those portables. And then the conversion of John Glenn Elementary School to the high school annex. So the oldest part there, one would be demolished in the front there. Again, that's just it's kind of wasted space. It's not, from a maintenance perspective, it's probably too costly to keep there. And then convert those the classrooms that are there for specialized use, convert to the high school classroom annex. Again, 20 or more classrooms, a student union, and a learning lab. Actually, will let us add some parking that can accommodate the parking for the Fine Arts Center, converting the gym to a spring sports practice facility, and for specialized use for, like we talked about JV teams, things like that. We then convert library and learning lab and a student center, which I think is a pretty exciting thing for the high school to be looking at there. So we get to the budget estimates. I'm not going to go through this whole slide. I'll just go down to the bottom line there. So the total estimated cost of all of this, and it's a pretty far-reaching upgrade, is $97 million and some change. The fund balance would cover a little over $11 million of that, and the proposal is to then bring forth a bond of $86,071,912. You see the land acquisition. The district's always looking for new land, and those dollars are in there. $3 million is in there to accommodate that. So at this time, first of all, I'd like to ask if there are any committee members or chairs that would like to add anything or clarify anything. If not, I'd like to ask the chairs of the committee to come forward and formally bring a recommendation to the board. So it's Virginia Forte, Yvonne Del Fuente, and Lynette Pavlaki.
2015-2016 Long Range Planning Committee recommends that the Board of Trustees adopt the Long Range Master Plan presented and proceed with the development of a foundation in 2016 to meet the identified needs.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions at this point about the presentation this evening?
Great job. It's a lot to take in. My only concern is, I guess, the high school, since we passed the bond how many years ago? 5, 7, wait, no, 7, that's right. We renovated the high, that would probably be my only concern to you guys is the community maybe questioning that portion. I know all the other campuses do need renovations, and I love all the improvements. And thank you to my committee member for serving. I appreciate it. I know it's a lot of work. So that's my only concern. I know we didn't have enough, probably, that wasn't part of the recommendations at first, right? When we first passed the bond, those recommendations at their.
Yeah, initially when we talked about the high school, we had the a performing arts facility in it. But at that point in time, we weren't able to swing that.
So maybe there's a way to swing. I think that's, I'm just voicing my concern.
So I think at this point, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I think for the terms of the high school, we're really not touching anything outside of the additions,
Right.
right? And you still have the issue of growth there,
Oh, yeah,
right? And so I think that was the primary focus of our, the John Glenn piece of it for sure was how do you accommodate that growth without having to build new structures, new facilities there? And then the fine arts facility,
I agree.
yeah, it's
I
just
agree.
well
We-
needed.
That's well needed. I agree. I mean, I agree. Like I said, I agree with all your recommendations. That's just my concern, but I guess we could swing it that way, that the first one, probably that was part of it. But we weren't funded enough
Right, pull back.
to build, yeah, to build that. But thank you very much for all your hard work.
Okay, so I would also like to add my thanks to the committee. I know that y'all did a lot of work on this. You spent a lot of time on this, a lot of time away from your family. Part of it was over the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. So we really appreciate your dedication on this and the way at which you approached the task. What you gave us is different than what was originally given to you. And that shows that y'all really went out and dug into it and did some great work. So we do appreciate what you did.
I do too. I appreciate my committee members spending so much time and hard work on that. I was able to attend one of the meetings, and a lot of the discussion that went on was really, really in depth, so I appreciate the hard work as well.
I also like to thank the committee for all the hard work they did and the time and patience that they did to bring this presentation to us, and I think it's really going to be beneficial to the district if we pass this on. I also like to thank my committee members from District 5, Mrs. Lawson, Mrs. Dela Fuentes, and another committee members, Demetri Sands, but she could not make it, but I appreciate you guys coming out and doing what you did here. Bring this to the board for consideration. Thank you so much to all the committee members.
Okay, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the report